Thank you. Please sit down. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the warm welcome. Standing ovation before we start. No pressure. I really don't know where to begin. I did not think it would be as tense as it is now. People ask, what's your motive? Or what's the turning point? The turning point. As there is such a thing as the turning point. First of all, I did not leave Hamas yesterday. It has been many, many years. My fight with Hamas started way before I met any Zionist. Since childhood, they tried to repress me. They tried to contain me. They did everything within their ability. Bad things. And they are still trying. We're telling people the danger is spreading. And if we don't eradicate Hamas in Gaza, it's going to go all over the place like wildfire. Much faster than anybody is thinking. It's very different than 20 years ago with all the social media. They're infiltrating schools. They're spreading hatred. If the situation continue to be like this for another year or two, everything will collapse. So many people abused this cause called Palestine, projecting whatever human desire they have through the cause. Beneath the surface, lust, hatred, delusion, anger, violence. Then Hamas is just another movement taking advantage of what's so-called Palestine or Palestinian cause. So they come and they say, we are a Palestinian organization and we want to liberate Palestine. Lying. Because what's next on your agenda? Your mother organization, the Muslim Brotherhood. What's your ideology? But it is all in their charter and we can read it. There is no way to rationalize with Hamas. It's a dead end. You cannot convince them. They believe in violence. If the world does not submit to their demand, today they will use violence. And tomorrow when they have more power, they will use more violence. And we are not dealing with a small group of people, few thousands in Gaza, because Hamas belongs to the Muslim Brotherhood, which nobody is talking about. Look at the media coverage, but no one is talking about the Muslim Brotherhood, who has more than 100 million active members worldwide. They are only religious, ideological movement raging a holy war against Israel and the Jewish people, against the world, because they don't believe in political borders. They want a global state, one race, or let's say at least one religion. No Christianity in it, no Judaism, no Buddhism, no Hinduism, nothing. And everything has to go according Allah and the Islamic constitution. A global state. A lot worse than Nazism. I love the principles of the Western civilization. I think it is the best because it believes in diversity. It believes in dialogue. We accept the other. All colors of life is accepted in this society, and that's the best way. And the alternative to this is violence, is a dead end, destruction, more human suffering. And what we saw on October 7th, that was the peak of their evil. 35 years in the making. And we have to prove them wrong. If we don't prove them wrong today, that their violence is taking them nowhere, we have failed big time. Because it will not be only Hamas. It will be many other groups blackmailing democracies worldwide. We saw the Mexican cartel wearing Hamas outfit, celebrating Hamas. Because when criminals and savages everywhere, they see that one group was able to bring a democracy to its knees. You see all this global pressure on Israel to stop now, ceasefire, please. And Hamas so happy about this. This is what they wanted, legitimacy, that the world is willing to meet with their demands and beg for forgiveness, forgetting what happened just less than 2 months ago. What Hamas committed on October 7 was a genocide by all standards. For those who watched the atrocities of Hamas, to understand the nature of their attack that was not measured by how many people died on October 7th. It was how they died and why they died. Where Hamas moved from door to door, annihilating everything in their way. 20 communities were wiped out. Women, children, infants, raping, looting, burning, blowing up, then taken hostages. Then Hamas does not stop there. They go back to Gaza, use an entire society as human shields. When Hamas leaders take refuge among their tribes, among their families, what are you expecting from Israel? And Hamas killed many of the Gazans. Then Hamas statistics about civilian casualty is not accurate. They are lying. It's a lot less than what they are announcing. And many of the photos that they have, they took them from Syria years before the Gaza war. And the world doesn't even know the difference. An entire nation failed to condemn the savages. Not even one decent individual stood and said, this does not represent us. Seeing the barbaric attack of Hamas, documented by their own media, that is not a propaganda. Everything was caught on a camera. The world failed to condemn Hamas for first committing a genocide, for second, taking human shields to kidnap infants, demanding the exchange to release mass murderers in return. The United Nations, they failed to condemn Hamas. Russia is giving Hamas cover. China is giving Hamas cover. It's the wild card that Putin needed to shift the attention from Ukraine to the Middle East, knowing when he ignites a religious war in the Middle East, nobody would think about his moves in Europe and in Africa, trying to change the world order, moving through Iran to just destabilize the entire region and drag Israel, the United States, NATO into an ugly war. He's messing with the global security, with the future of humanity. US campuses, there is increase of the anti-Semitism, blaming Israel, blaming the Jewish people. You take a state, the only true democracy that has so much diversity in the Middle East, all type of ethnic groups, Jews, Muslims, Christians, everybody practicing their religion freely, where Arabic is an official language, where are representatives of the Arab community in the parliament, in the Knesset. And you say that this is an apartheid state committing genocide? Who initiated this? What worries me that the university submitted to their pressure. The students, they're just young. They don't know the Middle East. They don't have the power to discern what's going on. This type of forces, they love to thrive in chaos. When there is death, there is war, there is civilian casualties, this is their opportunity to rise, to project their hatred. But they're mistaken because it's not over yet. And we will restore order. We will eradicate Hamas. And we will bring the world back to stability. In this climate, they cannot thrive. They will die. So we can continue our denial and we will be next. It's not that far. All of us can fight evil, and nobody has an excuse to sit down and wait for death creeping. If we don't contain it, it is going to go out of control. We will all pay the price for that. Israel is fighting on our behalf in the Middle East. It's my fight, it's your fight, it's the free world fight. And we have to give them whatever it takes, all the way until Hamas is eradicated.